welcome to this presentation focusing on rhythm. We're going to cover the basics of what rhythm is and why we have rhythm and how it works. And this is part one of a two-part presentation. So let's do a little review about the terms or definitions associated with rhythm. You can see there, first of all, we need to know what rhythm is. Rhythm is the way that beats are organized in a piece of music. And the rhythm can vary based on the speed, how fast it's going, based on the texture, how many things are happening at once, whether it's all instrumental or vocal and instrumental. Also things like repetition. Are rhythms repeated throughout the song, or are new ones happening all throughout the song? In the definition of rhythm is the word beat, so we need to know what beat is. And beat is the steady pulse of the music. That's what you tap your foot to, and that steady pulse is maintained throughout the entire song. The third term associated with rhythm is accent. And accent is when you emphasize a certain beat, or when you make a certain beat louder compared to the others. And then the last one is meter. And meter is when a certain number of beats are grouped together. And usually these groupings happen in sets of 2, 3, or 4. That's the most typical groupings associated with music. And so throughout this presentation we'll talk about each one of these a little more in depth. So first of all, let's do a little bit of a review. Let's go over beat and rhythm, and what I'd like you to do is listen to these three musical examples, and as you listen I'd like you to tap your foot and find the beat. Determine what the beat is and tap your foot to that. And also I'd like you to determine what you think the speed or the tempo of the piece is. Medium, slow, is it fast, medium, fast? Think about those things as you listen. So here's the first example. So the beat of that, if you'd been tapping your foot, da, 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 da. That's the beat of that song, and it's definitely on the slower side. Very slow beat to it. Okay, here's the next example. So if you'd been tapping your foot to that one, the beat would have been dut, 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 dut. Definitely on the faster side, medium, fast, fast. Either one of those would have worked. Here's the final example. Two choices. If you had been listening to the beat, you could have had dut, 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 or you could have had twice as fast as that. Dut, 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 dut. Probably the slower one would be more appropriate. It's just very fast, lots of notes or lots of things happening in there makes it sound fast. But that would probably be the beat, the dut, dut, dut. And so you could call that medium fast or so. But that's what the beat is. It's that steady pulse of the music. Now let's talk a little bit about accent. Okay, accents are when you place emphasis on a specific beat in the music. And so you can do that in different ways. You can do that by making that note louder, singing it louder or harder, or putting a word, maybe a harsh word on it. Another thing you can do is add drums, a snare drum hit on that beat to accent it. But let's look at some examples of how this works. You can see there on your screen 8 notes. And So for example, if we were to accent, you can see the notes there at the top, and then there's two little symbols above two of the notes, and they look like greater than or less than signs. Those are accents. That's how they look in the music. And so if we were to count that out loud and accent the beats, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they would accent those specific beats. And as I said, they could do that in a variety of ways. Now the accents can, of course, be anywhere that you want them to be. For example, here's another musical example with the accents on beats 2 and 6. So if you were to accent those, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And of course you can do it at different speeds, and it gives the accents a little more musicality to them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's kind of how accents can work. Here's one more example where the accents are put on the 4th beat and the 8th beat of a melody, for example. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And of course, those are just a few examples, but that's how accents work. And we'll talk more about accents and creating rhythms in the next presentation. But that's an introduction to some of the basics of rhythm with accent and rhythm and beat. And so make sure that you watch part 2, where we'll cover more of the meter and we'll talk about what's called syncopation.